Banana peel biochar. Transform dead soil and double worms in 24 hours. If you've spent any time battling lifeless soil, the kind that repels water, cracks when dry and turns into cement after rain, you know how frustrating it can be. You amend it, water it, beg it to cooperate, and it still refuses to grow anything beyond weeds. But what if the solution wasn't in fancy fertilizers, store-bought soil conditioners, or expensive organic boosters? What if the soil-changing magic was sitting right in your kitchen right now? Welcome back to Soil Power, where we turn everyday scraps into serious growing power. Today, I want to share one of the most underrated, low-cost, high-impact soil transformations I've ever used: banana peel biochar. This simple 24-hour method has helped gardeners revive compacted clay, jump-start microbial life, attract worms almost instantly, and bring dead soil back to life faster than anything else I've tried. And the best part? You don't need a kiln, a farm, or any special tools. You only need banana peels, a pot, and the willingness to try something wonderfully old school and surprisingly scientific. Alright, let's dig in. Why banana peel biochar works. The soil science made simple. So many gardeners already know that banana peels contain potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and even some trace minerals. But here's the catch. Raw banana peels break down really fast, they attract pests, and they release nutrients too quickly to actually build long-lasting soil structure. That's why, a lot of gardeners end up tossing peels into the compost pile instead of putting them directly into the soil. But when we turn banana peels into biochar, everything changes. Burning the peels in a low-oxygen environment, it completely transforms them into a stable, porous carbon structure, one that actually lasts in the soil for decades, not just days. Imagine millions of tiny carbon tunnels, each one capable of storing water, oxygen, microbes, and minerals. Biochar doesn't just feed your plants, it kind of rewires your whole soil ecosystem. It improves soil texture, it boosts microbial life, it increases water retention, and it creates a welcoming habitat for earthworms, the true heroes of soil health. Earthworms love biochar because the pores mimic the loose, aerated environments they naturally burrow through. Add moisture, microbes, and food sources, and you've basically created a worm hotel. This is why so many gardeners notice worms appearing within hours of applying charged biochar. The worms aren't there for the nutrients, they're there for the life inside the biochar. And banana peel biochar has an extra advantage. It's naturally mineral-rich, so it creates a carbon sponge already infused with plant nutrients. Preparing the banana peels is honestly the foundation of good biochar. Before you make the biochar, your banana peels need to be completely dry. This step matters more than people think. Fresh banana peels still hold moisture, sugars, and cellulose that burn unevenly. When you dry the peels first, the heat transforms them cleanly into carbon instead of cooking them into sticky, half-charred mush. I usually collect peels over a few days. If you have sun, just spread them out on a rack or tray for a day or two until they're crisp. If not, set them in the oven on the lowest heat for 30 to 60 minutes. When the peels snap instead of bend, they're ready. Beginners often ask, how many peels do I need? For a small garden bed or container garden, 10 dried peels produce more than enough microchar for multiple plants. The goal isn't quantity, it's quality. Turning the peels into biochar can actually be done with the simple stovetop method. Most people are honestly pretty shocked that you can make biochar right on a stovetop. But, biochar doesn't actually require flames, it just needs heat without oxygen. This creates pyrolysis, which is the process that transforms peels into carbon, rather than just burning them into ash. So, here's how I usually do it for soil power experiments. I place the dried peels in a metal pot and cover it tightly with a lid. The lid is really important because it limits the oxygen flow. If you let in too much oxygen, you'll just end up with ash. But, with just enough heat and minimal air, you get these beautifully charred, lightweight flakes. I use low to medium heat for about an hour. You'll probably smell a faint smoky scent. That's totally normal. What you don't want is smoke escaping aggressively from the pot. That's a sure sign your heat is too high. Once the pot cools completely, I open the lid to find feather-light charcoal flakes. These are incredibly fragile, almost paper-like, and loaded with natural minerals. They crush easily between your fingers into coarse powder. And just like that, you've made banana peel microchar. This is raw biochar, and while powerful, it's not ready for your soil just yet. Charging the biochar. Artre dendi aludinostar. The step too many gardeners skip. If you apply raw biochar to your soil, it will act like a dry sponge and temporarily absorb nutrients from the surrounding soil. That's why we charge it, basically filling the carbon pores with nutrients and microbes before putting it into the ground. This step transforms biochar from passive carbon into a living ecosystem. Here's how I charge mine. I mix 1 cup of crushed biochar with about 2 liters of water and 1 cup of compost or worm leachate. I stir the mixture and let it sit overnight. During those hours, the microbes colonize every pore of the biochar. They multiply, settle in, and turn that powder into a microbial powerhouse. You can boost the process by adding a tablespoon of unsulfured molasses. This gives the microbes a quick feast, resulting in a richer, more active biochar. After 24 hours, you'll see little bubbles and possibly a slightly earthy smell. That's the sign that your biochar is alive and ready for the soil. Applying the biochar, the worm summoning moment. Now comes the satisfying part. Once charged, you can sprinkle the banana peel biochar directly into your garden beds or mix it into containers, raised beds, or even potted plants. I usually work it into the top inch of soil. You don't need to bury it deep. Earthworms and microbes will take care of that naturally. A little goes a long way. Even 1 cup per square foot is enough to see real improvement. After watering the area well, something amazing happens. If there are worms within reach, they begin moving toward the fresh biochar. I've seen this happen in as little as an hour. Worms follow microbial scent trails, so the moment the biochar activates in the soil, it sends out a signal they can detect from surprising distances. The worms come. They eat. They tunnel. They leave castings, the richest natural fertilizer you can get. And the cycle begins. Whether you grow in sandy soil, clay, compacted earth, or neglected beds, banana peel biochar works in every environment, but for different reasons. In clay, the biochar pries open compacted particles, making room for oxygen and water. This alone can trigger an explosion of worm activity, because they can finally move through the soil. In sandy soil, biochar acts like a moisture reservoir, holding water far longer than sand can on its own. It also stops nutrients from leaching away during watering. In dead organic matter-starved soil, biochar becomes the backbone of new life. Once microbes colonize it, the soil begins reorganizing itself, what I like to call the 24-hour wake-up. The first signs are usually darker soil color, tiny fungal strands, and improved texture. I've seen gardens go from lifeless to living in less than a week with consistent biochar use. The long-term power. Why banana peel biochar keeps working for years. Biochar is stable carbon, meaning it doesn't break down like compost or leaf mulch. Those decompose within months. Biochar stays in the soil for decades, sometimes even centuries. Once it's in the soil, charged and activated, it continues to support microbes, hold water, and keep nutrients accessible for roots. Worms revisit the same biochar pockets again and again because they know that's where the good stuff is. This makes banana peel biochar one of the most cost-effective soil investments you can make. You create it once, apply it once, and the soil continues benefiting for years. It's not a fertilizer, it's not an amendment, it's a soil ecosystem builder, and that's what makes it so powerful. Here's a trick I use often on soil power. I mix a handful of charged banana peel biochar into my compost pile. This small step, honestly, accelerates composting, cuts down on smells, and creates a richer, more diverse microbial environment. Biochar traps nutrients that would otherwise wash away, and holds them until you apply the compost to your garden. The result? soil that stays fertile longer. When you use compost enriched with biochar, you combine short-term nutrient release with long-term soil improvement. Not many gardening methods offer that kind of balance. Banana peel biochar. A sustainable gardening habit worth keeping. What I love most about banana peel biochar is how sustainable, accessible, and practical it is. It turns kitchen waste into garden gold. It boosts soil health without chemicals. It reduces landfill waste. And it brings your soil back to life using nothing but carbon, microbes, and time. Whether you're a new gardener starting with rough soil or, an experienced grower looking to refine your bed's banana peel biochar is a technique that pays off quickly and continues rewarding you for years. This simple 24-hour hack has helped countless gardeners regenerate their soil naturally, and it can do the same for you. If you're ready to breathe life back into your soil, invite more worms into your beds, improve water retention, and build long-lasting fertility, try banana peel biochar. It's simple, free, and honestly, incredibly effective. And if you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to Soil Power, share this article with fellow gardeners, and leave a comment about your experience. The more we learn together, the more powerful our soil becomes. Let's keep growing, one banana peel at a time.